Is it important that science is peer-reviewed? Well, the answer is yes and no. Some of the greatest science in the world, by Newton or Einstein, was not peer-reviewed. Some of the other science that has led to disasters, like that of Lysenko in the Soviet Union, was not peer-reviewed. Peer review process is a complicated process, which I've been involved in as managing editor of journals and as a referee of journals, as someone who submits papers to scientific journals. And some peer review is extraordinarily shoddy, other peer review is very meticulous. But in science, like with football clubs, we're divided into different teams. And Team Red quite often will not review kindly the work of Team Blue. And so Team Blue cannot get published in that journal. This is universal in the world, where we have tribes that are competing against other tribes. In this book I go into some of the peer review in social sciences, and one of the papers that I look at is a paper dealing with the penis being a social construct and not a biological organism. Now, if a paper like that can get peer reviewed, then anything can get peer reviewed. In my experience, a lot of peer review is actually pal review, that you're in a small field, you know all the players, you get one or two of the players to review the paper before you submit it. You'll submit it to a friendly editor, it'll go to friendly reviewers, and you'll have to change a comma and a full stop there and change this diagram, but in effect you can publish your work. If you send it to an editor who might be hostile to your work, who might be in the blue camp, forget it, you have no chance. And you've only got to go to a scientific conference to see the scientists walking around, preening their peacock feathers, denigrating those in the other camp. Science is like everything else. We're competitive, we're humans, we put down each other, and just because a paper is peer-reviewed doesn't mean it's correct. The greatest peer review happens after a paper has been published. And that was the case with cold fusion, when readers later said, oh, wait a minute, this is not quite right. So be very wary when someone says the papers are peer reviewed. These are people who have never been in the peer review process.